What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Weekly Roar. My name's Odin Dylan. I'm joined by my co-host, Stan the Carman, Colton. Our special guest today, Braden, also known as the entire Circus, or whatever. He goes by
I thought
many
you were
things.
gonna say the secret.
No.
It hasn't been put out yet. All right.
Head goon, for those of you that know the goons.
Is he the head goon?
He's definitely the
Maybe.
head goon.
I thought,
We don't have a hierarchy.
well, like, in my head, Big Brother Goon, that's a pretty de facto title that Zach
Well,
has.
he's really just the dictator. He's not the. He kind of just handles propaganda,
he
mainly silencing the Smash Team shit, which needs to happen
understandable.
every now and then.
But anyways,
Already getting accusations. Come on, guys.
I guess we'll just jump right into the first topic. I mean, it was breaking news today when I woke up at like 6 a.m. Bleed Esports has been removed from VCT. We don't know why, but they were replaced by the Ascension team. Boom. Do you have any guesses, Colt?
I mean, from the article that we read,
Yeah.
somewhat it seems like they're supposed to report a certain amount of stuff, maybe their finances or the way they do things as a team, the way their players work or something. I don't know, but supposedly they broke the team participation agreement with Riot, so Riot was like, yo, you guys need to fix this, and it says that it was a persistent issue. Don't know how persistent really, but obviously they weren't reporting stuff that they were supposed to be reporting all year, or their few years in the VCT. I don't know how long they've been in VCT, but I mean, if you don't play by the rules, I'd like to see that Riot is like upholding their agreements and stuff, because it's like we know that they're not just going to let a team keep going by and like doing shady stuff and not doing what they're supposed to be, because the team will get kicked out. With Boom being second seed coming in, kind of like last year's situation with the Guard dropping their entire org even though they won, and then they worked out a way to where G2 came in for them and bought a spot or something. I don't know how they worked it out, but I was glad to see that Ascension team get a spot on top of the team in second place, because it was a big talking point last year with me and all of my friends that watch Valorant. Like, it was crazy that the Guard went on such a dominant run in Ascension and then just were like, yeah, none of you guys are getting a spot. Like, it was wild.
Yeah, that does sound kind of odd. I mean, I don't follow VCT, so I really don't know how the Ascension stuff works and things. But I do want to ask, Bleed's roster, what happens?
I don't know.
Our King's on there.
I think we see the return of El Diablo. We're bringing him back. He comes back, hopefully to NA. He wasn't that good on Bleed, I don't think. I'm pretty sure they got 2-0'd as soon as they picked him up. They lost both their matches and were out for the rest of the season. So I would hope that Ye gets another spot, another chance. You know, there was a recent Chamber buff. I don't know if they're going to be using Chamber in VCT. I think there's a good chance, as a former Chamber player, there's a good chance that, he makes a spot with a Chamber. He could even be like a 6-man. I would love to see a 6-man ordeal where teams bring in a player for a specific map. That would be really cool, because that's something I've also wanted in Call of Duty, is like we have these 5-mans and some teams have players that are really good at search and destroy but kind of suck at respawn. Like Colt Havoc, it would have been so cool for that Florida team, instead of benching him, to bring him in for search and destroy specifically. Because, there's not rules against it. You can sub in players in between maps, and it would be great, but not a lot of esports utilize that strategic substitution, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because, sports do it all the time.
Yeah.
You have certain players, they'll go on the bench the entire game, but if it's 4th and goal or 3rd and goal,
Or
they're out there.
Like a blitz situation or something like that.
Like a blitz player or a goal line package or something like that. That stuff's really cool to me, and I think that that would be something fire to utilize in esports. we're even thinking about doing it with our COD team this year because we have 5. We have a good 5. One could be terrible at respawn this year. Sit him out in the respawn maps. He could be a demon in search. We don't know. It just kind of depends.
Yeah.
I mean, unless obviously there's just 4 that are just outstandingly better than everyone else, then I get that. But I feel like there's a lot of team comps that teams can run where you can throw Ye in, and he would make them better for that specific map. Because, like, Cloud9 putting him on Sage and all that weird stuff.
Yeah.
They killed my boy, man.
Yeah. Braden, do you watch VCT any or?
Nope,
Okay,
nothing.
so
I was about to ask.
Yeah.
I actually don't like watching esports professionally for games that I play because it's very unhealthy to just constantly compare myself to those people. And so usually, and I've played a lot of different games, so I've avoided a lot of different esports.
It's understandable.
That's fair.
But I have been interested in some, but I only really look at highlights and other stuff. I don't watch full games because it might as well be a completely different game.
Yeah, I understand that. See, for me, I watch a lot of esports, especially the games I compete in, just because I like to pick up on the tendencies that pros have and see what they're doing, what works for them, what's working well, and try to I don't try to mirror my gameplay after them because I'm obviously not a VCT pro or I wouldn't be on this couch. But I enjoy trying to get better because I feel like it gives me a better understanding for how it should be played, and I can somewhat lean in that direction and help my teammates lean in the direction of how it should be played.
Yeah.
I think it's certainly cool to watch them and all that amazing stuff they do, but I'm not even going to try to pretend like I understand their thought process.
Fair.
And even if I could, my aim certainly isn't good enough to put that to use. So for now, at least, I am avoiding VCT for the most part.
That's
Fair.
understandable.
But I do like to watch finals and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always use pro gameplay as really and truly just it's the default of how to play a map. Because in Call of Duty or Halo, that's the way I look at it.
Oh yeah, when you have lineups and different stuff for Valorant, that's different.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, that's straightforward. It is easy for the average player to look at that and see why they would do a certain lineup a different way, or they would just run the same thing as you'd expect. But in terms of how they actually play, other than abilities, just pure gameplay, just decision making, yeah, I'm not even gonna attempt to try it.
Yeah, I can understand that. But speaking of bleed and esports, new leagues, or the changes in leagues, we could talk about the VSPO launching in partnership with the EWC, the Asian Champions League. So for those of you that don't know, the EWC is the Esports World Cup. They just recently had the first ever Esports World Cup in Dubai.
Yeah, somewhere. It was Saudi Arabia or Dubai or somewhere like that.
I think it was Dubai. I could be wrong.
I don't remember the exact location.
Don't quote me. But they basically had every single esport you could possibly think of. They invited top 8, 12, 16 teams throughout. It was different. There was a different format per esport, which was pretty cool. I'd love to see stuff like that outside of each respective league's championship. COD World Champs had just ended, and then they went to play in the Esports World Cup, which is really cool because the favorites to win COD Champs, FaZe, they went out top 6. Very disappointing event for them and for their fans, and then FaZe turned around and ended up winning the World Cup, which was really cool because it's those fans still got a chance to see them win a big championship that meant a lot. And I think this is going to be huge for
that market,
esports, and that market. Having an Asian Champions League for every esport across the board, that's going to be really cool. I don't know all the esports yet that they're going to do, but that could bring some craziness.
Yeah, I mean if they tie it in, if it's tied in with EWC, and it's I don't know if it would be every title from EWC, but even if it's the majority of the titles, boy, you could have some crazy stuff go on, Asian COD teams, Asian Warzone teams,
that would be crazy.
Yeah, stuff we haven't ever really seen before.
Yeah, That would be wild because like COD and Warzone and like especially first-person shooter games aren't very big
In Asia,
in
yeah.
Asia. That would be really cool to see like that side of esports get involved in stuff like that. It would be really cool because like whether they be good or bad, I think it'd be good for the scene expanding past North America because currently the COD scene is just North America. We did have a team in the UK, but we've not had them for over a year now. We had a team in Paris, but it seems like all those teams outside of the U.S. or outside of North America kind of just crumble, and it really sucks because it's like, as a COD fan, I want the COD League to be as big as possible.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a fan of 12 teams. I think the open bracket, the way the CWL did it, was fire. Having people actually compete in brackets and group plays to make the big tournament brackets. But
Well, I mean, talking about first-person shooters not being very big in Asia, why do you think, Braden, that Overwatch was as big as what it was over there? Like,
Overwatch is a lot different from usual first-person shooters.
Right.
It's role-based, and there's a lot of things in it that aren't even shooter.
true.
Stuff like Brigitte and Rhine. They're more melee. It's a lot more like a first-person MOBA, if anything.
Yeah.
And I know for Japan, the reason Switches are so popular is because usually rooms are very small and you're like, kids are always like within sight of their parents. So usually if there's a game being played at a Japanese household, it's probably going to be family friendly.
Yeah.
And that's why Switches are so popular. So I've heard. I've never been there. Can't actually say that for a fact. But I've always wondered why Switches were so popular over there. And that seemed to make sense to me. And it would also explain why stuff like COD wouldn't be as popular.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Well, because last week we talked about how the oceanic market, like it doesn't, which sometimes Japan is included in that, even though they're not technically oceanic, but
Yeah.
like Australia and New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about how that market just can't seem to get a grasp on, or the esports world can't seem to get a grasp on that market. And we were like, why is that? But what you just said, I didn't think about it like that. Like, there's always kids that are like right there and everything's so small, and that makes a lot of sense.
yeah, I for sure never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Like, that makes a lot more sense of like why shooters and stuff like that aren't popular over there. And like a lot of the countries in Asia, like they have like zero tolerance
For guns,
guns.
yeah.
Like normal people do not shoot guns. It's only police officers. Like in Japan specifically, law enforcement are the only people that have guns, and all they carry are like 44 magnums, like revolvers. They don't even carry like fully like, like a specialized pistol or anything like that. They don't even have assault rifles. It's just revolvers.
I'm actually surprised there's any scene in Britain at all with how strict they've become about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like my only reasoning for Britain being involved in FPSs and stuff is kind of like they're more Western
Yeah, I was
culture
about to say
than
that, yeah.
a lot of like Asia and stuff like that. But speaking of Britain, Scotland is doing some crazy stuff now with esports, which is really cool.
Yeah, it kind of ties into the oceanic thing too.
Yeah.
I think it might very well just be a cultural thing. I think
Because, like, it's weird because I know Australia, like, they do have people that play FPS.
Yeah.
FPS is big over there, but, like, Oceania is so, like, split apart, and I feel like they're all different cultures.
Yeah.
And they're all jumbled into the same, like, region, but
And there's
they're all
nothing that's
so
consistent enough to
different.
form one single mass. It's just
Yeah.
all spread apart, so it can't really turn into anything big.
Yeah, and if they do try to do it anything big, like Australia likes FPS games. Majorly, like when I think or hear of Australian esports players or organizations, they lean towards the FPS games. But then like New Zealand and Japan and the other countries in Oceania, I don't think or hear about them playing FPS. So it's weird because it's like majority of your player base in Oceania is coming from Australia, but they like other games that other Oceanic teams don't like, and it just creates a whole weird dynamic, I feel like.
But like, so I read today about this Scottish esports coalition. I don't know what to call them. It's a group of people. There's 3 of them, and they came together and they formed this thing, and they're calling it Scotland Esports, Scottish Esports, Esports of Scotland, something similar to that. And their goal is to basically be ambassadors. The Scottish Esports community. Sure. Yeah, it's just called Scottish Esports. Is that just?
That's it.
Okay.
All right.
That's it. But they have been on record saying that they're like the ambassadors, national body for all things in Scotland related to esports. They're gonna host workshops. They'll have in-person LAN events. Basically, just like teaching their community and their country about what esports is, so that way they can get in on the fun of esports.
Yeah.
Do you think that if somebody from Australia, you don't start just an Australian one, right? Like, you'd have to start an oceanic esports and teach it to that whole region. I feel like that would be better than just.
I think it would be better, like, if they came up with a committee overseeing it, but also did their own little thing, kind of like Scotland, like the Australian esports, and then Japan esports, or stuff like that.
Right.
I feel like would be great, but have it in a like funnel it all into Oceania to grow the league, because like it'd be weird having, I don't know, you could have Oceania esports and just have different people.
Yeah, because I mean,
in the different countries.
The problem is the chain of islands, like the Philippines and New Zealand and
that's the biggest issue.
all those places, like they're they're not spread out really, but like it would be hard to.
Yeah, so like I think maybe have your small teams of like Australian Australian esports, and then Japanese esports, New Zealand esports, and then have like a big governing body of Oceanic esport. That would be cool. Kind of like, not like the NCAA, but like just a big governing body, like in a way, kind of like the NCAA. Because like I think it'd shine more light on the scene, and like it would definitely help Oceania grow. Because I want to see Oceania grow. I want to see every esports league grow, because the bigger esports gets, the more jobs people passionate about esports get, the more player opportunities, and like this stuff. I know it didn't exist when you were in high school. It didn't even exist when I was in high school, and like I think building up these high school programs or school academies even across the world would be such a cool thing, because Korea, like PSG, like there's so many teams that like from like the age of like 5 you start playing esports, and that is your job, that's your career, that's your life path. And it's really cool, because the people that want to do that, like there's so many people that have the talent to do that, and they can't because of where they're from or just the situation they're in. Like I would have been an esports merchant if I had that in high school, but
we had to kick it old school. We had LAN parties and whatnot.
Yep,
so.
You invited all your friends over.
Yeah.
Told them to bring their PCs or consoles, and you told nobody about it.
Have you seen the picture of the dude's like duct taped to the ceiling at a LAN party?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, this is great. My buddy had a big basement in his parents' house, and we'd set up our PCs on his ping pong table, and we'd just have a good time playing free to play games or just random stuff. This is great. But you don't tell anybody about that, because like
no, not back then. You couldn't.
Nah. And I was in a weird spot, because like you is like not cool at all.
No.
And I was in a weird spot where like
it was
like starting to gain a little bit of traction. So like some people I could talk about it with because they thought it was cool, and other people I knew not to talk about it because they're like, "What? You're just a weirdo gamer." Like
about like D&D.
I've never played D&D, but like just in general, like if I told some of my friends in high school, yeah, me and the guys like brought our PCs over to his house and we all played a free to play free-for-all shooter game, they'd be like, "What's wrong with you guys? Oh, you have Mountain Dew and Doritos?" Like, we just like, it's a weird situation. But like now, I feel like it's cool to be a gamer. Like, people like that now, which is really weird to me because, like, I was, like, a closeted gamer. Like, I played football. I went to football practice, and I was just a completely different person because after football practice, like, me and, like, 4 of my teammates, we'd all grind Overwatch every single night for, like, 3-4 hours every night. And we grinded all the way to Masters, and it was just a fun time. But we didn't tell anybody we did it. Like, one of them did, but then, like, he became, like, the weirdo on the team, so we were like, yeah, what's Overwatch, bro? I don't know what that is.
Well, I mean, speaking about it becoming popular, like, did you see that there's a bunch of dudes from DreamHack that quit DreamHack and started their own new thing called Glitched?
Oh, hold on. Before you get there. So, I haven't really played D&D either. It's the closest thing I've played is Baldur's Gate. But, you know, like 30 years ago, if you told somebody you played D&D, you probably you worship the devil or something. I don't know, whatever they said. But it's slowly been more and more accepted, and I think it's to the point where if you play D&D, people are like, oh, that's a cool hobby.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think just overall hobbies like that, just as a whole, have been more and more accepted in the mainstream.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like, just recently I went over to a friend's house, and they were just playing D&D in the living room. Like, they were just chilling.
Yeah, in the 80s. You're talking about in the 80s. It was called the Satanic Panic. That's what they called it. Yeah. D&D was like, it was crazy.
Yeah, and it's just really cool to see, like, how far esports in general has come.
It was just being a nerd.
Just being a nerd, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just cool to, like, have your own interests now, and it's great. Because I feel like a lot of people are afraid to be
you don't
who
get
they are.
flamed for, like,
stuff like that.
yeah, anime tattoos and whatnot anymore.
Absolutely. But, oh, yeah, DreamHack. That's crazy because, like, I feel like DreamHack's always been this big, massive thing for me in my eyes. And then the last few years, it's been, like, this weird thing. It's like they're reaching out to our club, wanting us to go play at DreamHack. And it's like, what happened? What happened
I think
to DreamHack?
COVID hit them really hard.
Yeah, COVID hit them really hard. And I think, like, with these guys starting to glitch, because they want to do it more kind of like an old school LAN party. It's just a festival. It's a fun time. People come and just have a good time. I think DreamHack's shifted more to just strictly competitive, like, more of a professional thing. And obviously these guys don't like that. And I also think they're trying to go a little too mainstream because for those of you who don't know, for some reason this last DreamHack in Atlanta, they had the Hawk Tua girl there. Like, I don't know why you got a bunch of gamers having a meet and greet at DreamHack Atlanta with that person. I feel like it's just a completely different scene.
She did a world tour because she was at Rock the South as well.
Yeah. It's crazy.
She just
social media
say hi to people, or
I think she had a meet and greet.
Yeah, that's what she did at DreamHack. It was a meet and greet.
What was the where else did you say she went?
Rock the South, and then
What'd
she was at
do there?
DreamHack. Yeah.
Just another meet and greet.
Yeah.
Yeah, just doing meet and greets, and it's like it's really weird to me. It's because it's like, what? Like, this person came out of nowhere.
I
and
mean,
it just blew up.
what
social
she
media
said
is
was
wild.
funny. I get that.
It was funny.
And
for
like,
sure.
she's an attractive lady. So like, I don't know. It was just like right place, right time, right person, type thing. I mean,
for sure. I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't get DreamHack.
Right.
Partnering with her for a meet and greet.
Yeah.
It's like, I've never heard her talk about video games.
Nope.
Ever. And she's in a lot of things on social media. It's very hard to avoid this woman. And since the interview, like, since she joined social media and started her podcast and all of this stuff she's doing, never heard her once talk about video games. And then all of a sudden, I'm a DreamHack, guys. Come pull up. Like, what? I don't know. That's weird. I feel like DreamHack is it's very obvious that they're losing their leadership. They're losing people who started DreamHack, what made DreamHack big. It seems like they're slowly starting to deteriorate from the inside, and it's starting to show with stuff like bringing this random meet and greet on. And I think, like you said, I think COVID really had a huge impact on a lot of things in general. Like, there's not even LANs for, like, college events anymore because COVID. Everything's just online.
I mean, almost tanked the entire like movie theater industry too. Like,
Yep.
it was It was the Wild West out there for sure.
It's tough.
I know Smash was in shambles.
Was it?
From what I've heard from
Oh, yeah,
Zach,
'cause
just
they're
bits
like-
and pieces.
they're like super
they
local based.
hate playing online.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very like latency and
Yeah, that
it's,
makes sense.
It's terrible online, so I can understand that. I'm excited for Glitched to see like what happens. I think it's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, I might be buying the ticket to Sweden or something, bro.
That's
like,
what I was saying. I would love to just get a group of us, just go have a good time. You know,
That'd be-
maybe it's on the same week or sometime around Oktoberfest. That would be even fire. Like that'd be great.
It'd be a good time for
It
sure.
would be a great time. But I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's talk about the fun times recently with UNA, because I mean this is the weekly wall, so we got to talk a little bit about us. We had media day this yesterday, and we're gonna finish it up today. When this comes out, media day will already be over, but I think I can confidently say this is the most hype media day we've ever had. We just had music going. The facility was packed out. We had a great photographer, and whenever she had to step out, everyone, you know, the other people that took pictures, they jumped in. They were great, fantastic. Everything was good. The setup, the lighting, the vibes, everybody was just in here. We had people playing Smash on the TV. We had people just hanging out, doing other stuff, playing spike ball. Like, it was honestly like one of the best media days I've been a part of. I've been a part of 3 now, and like every single media day seems to just keep getting better and better and better and better. And I just absolutely love the culture that we're creating here in the club. And like everyone watching, if you're part of the club, thank you, because you're part of the culture. Everything you do as an individual absolutely reflects and defines what the culture of this club is. And like I couldn't be more thankful for everybody just embracing me and Dylan's wild, abrasive approach to all of this, because we've just been like,
It's like a locker room.
exactly.
It's like a field
it's been
house in
great.
here,
It's
and
been
it's a good
absolutely
time.
great.
And I want to thank everybody for being so compliant. Like all the teams and individuals that had pictures taken and stuff. Like you guys were super chill, super easy to work with. So thank you for that as well.
Absolutely. Now a word from our sponsors. Bigstar Supermarket in St. Florine is locally owned and operated. They pride themselves as the local source for fresh cuts, non-prepackaged meats. They have butchers with years of experience, so if you need a special cut, just let them know. Individual customer service and 100% satisfaction is their goal.
Be sure to stock up on essentials and specialty items while you're there. So come on down to 4695 County Road 47 in St. Florine, where they never leave you holding the bag.
Since 1959, R.E. Garrison has been driven by one vision, to be the Southeast premier carrier. That same drive has been what has carried them through more than 60 years of freight.
With nationwide terminals and a commitment to excellence, Garrison is more than just over the road. They're right in your backyard, delivering unmatched service from the driver's seat. Built for trucking by truckers, Garrison knows what it takes to keep America moving forward.
Visit them at www.regarrison.com or give them a call at 256-255-5500 and get started building your legacy with them today, one drive at a time. For the Win Game Store, located at 248 Seville Street in Florence, Alabama, is home to all things trading cards and tabletop games.
For the Win is open 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week, and hosts events daily. For the Win carries a number of games including Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Bushiroad Games, One Piece, Digimon, Dragon Ball, Universus, Disney Lorcana, Warhammer, and more. They also have all of your D&D needs.
Follow them on Facebook or Instagram at FTW Game Store to see the list of events and new releases.
So, do you guys have like an underrated esport that's like not really talked about a lot, or you don't hear a lot of people talk about it or see a lot about it, that you just absolutely love to sit down and watch?
GeoGuessr. I sit and watch Rainbolt YouTube videos all the time. Absolutely love GeoGuessr. A little bit of lore for those of you that don't know, and if you ever see this somehow, Professor Ballantyne, you got smoked. My first semester here at UNA, he offered us a lecture to get extra credit in his geography class. I couldn't make it because I was dealing with some club drama. So I was dealing with that, and I couldn't make the credit. So I was asking if there was some type of way I could get extra credit, and he was like, I don't know. Like, what would you suggest? And I was like, 1v1 me and GeoGuessr. If I win, you make my worst lab grade a 100, And he's like, well, what if I win? I was like, I thought he would be cocky because that's just who he is, and like I knew what he was about. He's a geography professor. I was like, you made my best lab grade a 0. So he's like, all right, bet. So I thought we were gonna do it. Like, I don't really know how I thought we were gonna do it. I thought it was just gonna be me and him, just a 1-on-1. But later that day in lab, in front of everyone, he decided to just put us on blast and have the GeoGuessr 1v1, and I absolutely smoked, bro. There was one that was like the solidifying round. It was in Ghana. I guessed Ghana, and he guessed South America. So I just absolutely smoked him. It was great. It's a good time. I love GeoGuessr. I think GeoGuessr esports are really cool because it's like it's really insane the amount of knowledge you have to just consume and remember for GeoGuessr. Because like one of my friends, I don't do it because I'm not about that. I just look at the landscape and guess. But like he will, based on the stripes at the end of a telephone pole, which direction they're in, which angle they're at, he can tell you what country it's in. He can tell you all the different Asian languages. Korean is more round than Chinese. Chinese is more square than Japanese. And it's like kind of insane how you can just know that stuff and remember that stuff. Like there's certain ripples in the sky on the camera that can tell you what country you're in, or
That's
narrow down to
insane.
like 3 countries. If the car is a certain color, you're in Kenya. Like if the car's like a silver gray, you're in Kenya or Ghana, one of the two. I don't remember. It's just wild, the intricacies with GeoGuessr, and I feel like it should be more popular just because of like how hard it is to be that good at knowing where the heck you are in the in the country or the world. Sorry.
Braden?
Excel spreadsheets. Yes, there are people that compete against each other to do certain tasks in Excel the fastest by using every single shortcut they can think of.
Really?
And it is hilarious.
I bet that looks like brain go burr.
It's just professional office work, and it's hilarious.
That is really funny. What do they win?
Cut and tell you.
A promotion?
I don't even think it's that big. It's just something that exists. It's funny.
That is insane. I love that. It's an Excel
Obstacle course.
That's amazing. What? That's cool.
For me, it's definitely Pokemon VCG. I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough. I don't know. You talk about intricacies in GeoGuessr and stuff. Like that's how Pokemon works because, there's so many moves that they can have. There's EVs, IVs, which is how you can stat a Pokemon. It's really in depth. So like,
Yeah.
you could have like a really slow Pokemon, and then it's a Trick Room setup. So like, you use the move Trick Room, which makes the slow Pokemon go before the fast Pokemon. Like, and then it's also doubles. So like, it's not just a one-on-one Pokemon battle. There's 2 Pokemon on each side, and they all have different abilities. And like, it's very, very, very in depth, and there's a lot to it, and it doesn't get talked about enough. So like, if you guys want to check it out, go look up Wolf Glick. He is the Casanova of Pokemon. He's a NA world champion, and he's a gorgeous man as well.
That's sick. I think another one for me is PUBG. It's not necessarily like super underrated because it was really big at one point. I think it's just crazy the fall off of PUBG esports because they're exactly the same like as they were before. Same formats, same type of teams. There are still NA teams in it as well, but it's wild how mainstream North American esports are because if you talk about PUBG outside of North America, a lot of people would probably talk to you about it and a lot of people watch, but in North America, I feel like every time I talk about PUBG, people look at me funny because it's like, one, it was a great game. I absolutely loved it. One of my favorite games. And then, like, the esports were really fun to watch. I used to have a group of friends that all watched it, but, like, now anytime it's on, I'm like, yo, you guys trying to watch PUBG? They're like, bro, what are you talking about? Because it just fell off so hard. And it's crazy the impact North America has on esports as a whole because it seems like if the game's not mainstream, the games fall off. Like, with Overwatch, the game started losing traction in North America, and the Overwatch League started losing viewership, and they made an executive decision to just axe the whole league, which it's obviously more than just North American viewership because there's a lot more people out there than just North America. But it's crazy the impact North America has on all esports.
Yeah, what are your thoughts about OWL?
I don't think they should have tried to revive it. I mean, it was clear that once they killed Owl, there's no trying to salvage that.
Yeah.
Like, the damage is done. Trying to replace teams with and even if you did do it perfectly, you're still down a player because they went from 6v6 to 5v5.
Yeah.
A lot of people are getting screwed through that, even if they did it perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's just sad to see. Overwatch as a whole was just sad to see to go from 1 to 2. It just a lot of very bad decisions from higher up led to its downfall, and we all know that story. It's still struggling to this day.
Do you think that Microsoft can salvage it?
No.
You don't think so at all?
No.
You think it's just cooked?
Since they took over, I don't think anything's changed.
Yeah, I mean, things take time.
Not anything major.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they can salvage COD? Because COD is experiencing the same Overwatch effect.
Debacle.
They franchised COD. It was good the first year, and then it's kind of like deteriorated every single year. And like, it's getting to a point where like the owners aren't happy, none of the players are happy. You have all of this insane talent in challengers, but for what? You have all these friends and pros who are just gatekeeping all of these challengers, and you've seen like this last year. More than ever, challengers players are being brought up, and they were showing that they deserve to be in the league. And like, do you think Microsoft has a chance to fix COD? And if they do fix COD, is there any sort of hope for Overwatch at all?
I don't know near enough about COD as much as I do Overwatch, but from what I have seen about COD, I haven't even seen the newest COD. I don't know what it's like. Can you give me a rundown?
I think it's going to be pretty good. I mean, we kind of say that every year, but like...
They have the beta open if you pre-purchase it right now, don't they?
It was. I don't know if it's still open. I think it closed. But we played the closed beta and the open beta both. And again, it seemed like it's going to be really good. But again, we say that every year.
What made me sad was seeing on the trailer for zombies that zombies had health bars. I just don't like that.
Yeah.
It just takes away from zombies entirely for me.
Fair. I do like that they're going back to round-based zombies finally, because this whole survival zombies weird
I don't know what they're doing
stuff
with that.
they've been doing has not been good at all. I think the game's going to be just like Cold War. It feels exactly like Cold War with like you can dive and run sideways and backwards now.
I've seen some of the movements. It's hilarious.
Yeah, some of the movements different. It feels exactly like Cold War. The gunplay feels. It almost feels like what Cold War would have been if they had the time. Because Cold War, Sledgehammer was working on a game for 2 years or a year and a half, and then they scrapped the entire game and told Treyarch to make a game. So they made Cold War in 8 months, and Cold War wasn't that bad of a game. It got really boring after like the first few months, but I think this game is what they wanted Cold War to be, so I think it's going to be a lot like Cold War.
I'll say this about Black Ops 6. I think public games, like, you know, just whatever, pubs are going to be awful, like horrible.
Yeah.
Ranked and competitive-wise, I think it's where it's going to shine.
That might be biased because, I mean, me and him were kind of frying.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's our year, but it might just be.
Investors? Possibly you.
That's what I'm saying. Sub-duo.
But yeah, even like a lot of the maps, it just 6v6 felt very congested. It was like, this should be 4v4.
Yeah.
Which is what competitive is.
Which makes it great for comp because I feel like a 4v4 aspect would be so much better.
Yeah. But with that,
we can talk about Nate Shot.
You want
Nate
to real
Shot's
fast?
Goofy self since those of you that don't know Nate Shot, he's a whole character, and we talked about him a little bit last week with the whole 100 Thieves thing, taking a pay cut and all that. Saw a funny clip this morning. Nate Shot was playing a ranked game in Valorant, just a normal ranked game. He got upset and just ripped his headset in half.
Well, when you got money like Nate Shot, you can kind of do that.
Well, I mean, he don't have money no more. He took a.
I mean,
he
it's like
needs those subs.
just because he took a pay cut, don't mean he ain't got money in the bank.
Instead of subbing to Nade Shot, honestly, you should just sub to Stan the Carman 84 on. Oh my gosh, he ripped that thing clean in half.
Dang.
I respect that out of Nade.
That was a pretty calm takeoff too.
Yeah, he just calmly took it off and then just.
What was that new game, Spectres?
Oh,
Spectre
Spectre Divide.
Yeah. What do y'all think of that?
It wasn't very fun.
No.
Oh wait, is there a playtest?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it released.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
in early
I didn't hear
access
it
right
released.
now.
From the trailer I saw, it looked very choppy.
About a month ago, I guess, is when it released. Maybe like 3 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah, it kind of is choppy. Like
It just looked really sluggish.
Yeah, it's very sluggish and not. I don't think it's super like fleshed out yet, but I think it can be good. There's aspects of it that are fun, that are good. I think the idea of like having a player you move around is really cool.
Yeah.
But it's early access for a reason. It's
Yeah.
definitely not a game that's like, oh my gosh, we should get on and play this, guys, every night type of game. But I mean, I did have fun the few minutes I did play, the few games I played.
That's probably why I didn't hear about the release then.
Probably. It kind of, it didn't tumble or like crumble, but like I think a lot of people played it, realized it's one of those games you kind of like play for a little bit, then you're like, oh, okay, I'm out. Kind of like X Defiant.
It's a new game right
That's
now.
exactly how I felt when I played X Defiant.
Like, it's a fun game, but it's like, wow, this is a free-to-play game that would have come out in like 2013 that I would have loved as a kid, but
Yeah.
like,
It was marketed as a
Played-
COD spinoff, but
yeah,
it didn't feel polished at all.
no,
I personally didn't like it. I know some people that did. I didn't.
yeah,
The
that's-
new game right now, the hot wave, is Throne in Liberty.
yeah, Throne and Liberty. It's made by the same people who made New World.
Well, it's published by them, yeah.
Yeah, it's published by the same people. I think the same company helped on it. Because, like, I'm pretty sure they've been teasing or talking about a New World successor, so to speak. This is supposedly the New World successor, but it's a different entity or IP, I guess.
Is it the same general
basically
format
the
as
same
New World?
the same
Just basically the
format,
same
yeah.
game.
It's
Well,
I
don't-
avoided New World because I heard it was extremely pay to win.
I don't think it's based off of New World because it was a Korean MMO before it came to the West.
yeah, it's not based off of New World. It's just
I mean, like,
a
same
lot of
premise.
the people involved in New World had input in the game, and you can tell while playing the game that there's some similarities, but honestly, it's completely different.
I'm really
'cause
just asking if it's pay to win because that's why I avoided New World.
I don't know. I have no clue. I've played it so far. I've enjoyed it. I haven't even thought about spending money on it, so maybe not. But yeah, it's an MMO, and New World's just an RPG.
No, New World's an MMO.
Well, New World's more. I think it's more tame. There's a lot more going on in Throne of Liberty than there is in New World. From my personal experience so far, there's way more skills and more intricacies to Throne
Yes.
of Liberty than there are in New
Yes.
World. New World's more like you can pick up that game not knowing anything about an MMO and still have a ton of fun and like not think about anything. Cause like I'm gonna be honest, I played till I got to the main city and I got overwhelmed and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to bed. I was not trying to learn how to play a whole MMO because I've never been a big MMO player. But speaking of Mr. Goon over here, we have a brand new content piece coming out called Goon Time with Braden. It's gonna be a fun little interview type show that we have. I don't know the release dates of them really. Could be every week, could be every other week, could be every month. Not really sure. We'll find out, as we figure it out. But tell us a little bit about it. Are you fun? Are you excited for it?
It's henchman, nothing else. First off. Anyway, I don't know who he is, but some freak is walking around in a mask, cape, and fedora asking people random questions.
What kind of questions?
Well, I think you'll have to wait for it to be released. to know
Okay.
that.
Oh,
I was hoping to be like-
Completely random.
I was hoping to get a little sneak peek.
Oh yeah, like
You don't want to hear some of them.
are we thinking about Freak Bob and John
I
Pork?
I might have to incorporate that in the next one.
Okay. You. I thought it was
A masked man.
thought it was a masked henchman.
You ever seen the movie The Mask?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Jim Carrey.
Oh.
So you
So it
become
just-
you become a completely different.
You just become a freak. It just
I'll
takes
be right
over.
back.
Who's this?
Hold on. I'll make it work.
That's not gonna stay.
Just don't move. So, and then he proceeds to move immediately. So we've just been joined by a special guest. Introduce yourself, our lovely purple friend.
What's up? My name is... Maybe not that one. I'll give you my business name.
Okay.
Maybe not that one either.
Interesting. What can you tell us about yourself, mysterious man in purple?
Well, I will say, Party Wow has a very unique selection of things you can buy all next to each other. And they are all purple. It was a match made in heaven when I saw it, I will say. 'Cause they kind of didn't have any other props.
I like that. I like
But
that.
some call me a freak. That isn't nice. It's true. But it ain't nice.
Noted. You're not a freak in my eyes.
Thank you. I should be.
What do we call you, Mr. Purple?
Oh, I've been called Goon Man quite a bit. That is not my legal name. However, I will accept it as my alias.
Okay. Goon man. I like that.
We need to get you a big G, a big purple G.
Big purple
Ooh.
G chain.
I need to put Brandy in the Goons. Brandy Goon. That G has to stand for something.
Okay, hold on. Get locked back in. So, Mr. Goon man, do you have any questions for us today? Mr. Goon, wake up.
What's up?
All right, well, I'm not sure what's going on here or who Mr. Goon is, but we got to get out of here before things get weird. This guy's asking weird questions. Find out on Goon Time with Braden. Thank you so much for watching this week's Weekly Roar. I'm Colton Smith, Stan the Carman. Appreciate you guys for all the support and love you show, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Or lines.